What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chart Watch for your daily jumpstart here on BitLab Academy. We're going to break down the charts I'm looking at today, see what kind of things are going to be impacting the markets. So let's jump right on into it. First things first, from Caleb Franzen shows breakdown of the daily chart on Bitcoin. Key level that we're watching here. Not only do we have this more semi sort of midterm, not macro, but midterm support level that everybody's watching right here at these previous lows that we've already tapped twice on both these retraces, but we also have this teal line of rising support. If we lose this teal line, we'll be looking at coming down into the zone, down testing that $24,900 zone. If we lose that, this is when things start to get ugly. So as it stands right now, things are still looking okay, but this is sort of the line that's letting us know this is the next step. And if we lose this, we're becoming further down. Let's move to the next chart. Next chart we see right here, previous bull runs, how the market was structured leading up to the parabolic uptrend that everybody's waiting on. Well, we can see we have this sort of zone right here, previous all-time highs, or previous notable highs that have come back down and tested as support. Here we go, come down testing at support. And then we get this pre-bull run. This is basically pre-halving. And then we get the giant run that's come after it. So we are not there yet. Everybody's trading. That's losing. Everybody's trading like every small push up that we get is this green box. We may not be there yet. We may be starting to build a little bit of the foundation for that. But as we saw in this chart right here, we still have some work to do. We still have this rising support level. But if we cannot hold this, then we got to be looking for further downside. And we want to be prepared to take advantage of price action in both directions. So now coming on to this next chart here, I just want you to pay attention to this. This is from Didi Taihutu. He pointed out here these basically bear market stages, pre-halving and also pre-bull market. And then, of course, we have the bull market stages. Everybody wants this green bull market. Well, you got to wait for the market to tell you that we are in that position. And if you're buying before then, that's okay. I'm not saying don't buy in these periods which have been proven to be excellent entries as it relates to where the price goes in the bull run. But the point being here is, what is your resolve? What's your timeline? What's your outlook for a trade when you're entering it? Is it a trade, or is it a position, or is it a long-term hold? Know yourself, know your trade every time you take a trade. We are not quite yet there because we can see, look at this pre-halving stage, this sort of light blue or grayish stage. This time was consolidation. This time actually saw a little bit of a sell-off. This time saw much larger sell-off. What are we going to get this time? Well, now we have potentially, feels like on the cusp of World War III. We don't know what that's going to do to markets. Is Bitcoin going to be one of those things that outperforms traditional assets because it's a safe haven? Well, we're going to have to look into that. But point being is, we're not yet in this green stage. So know what your strategy is pre-halving. Okay, moving on to this next chart. Another way to look at this. The prevailing narrative often lags 2 steps behind the actual truth. This is such a good statement here from Stock Money Lizards. Point being here is, same thing. Is this a fake out? Is this a fake out? Is this a fake out? In this case, this is a little bit debatable because look at this run that we had up to 14,000. And then it dropped all the way back down to about 3,800, 3,700, $4,000. So this portion of this section was a fake out, came down, proved to have another incredible buying opportunity. This one did not have that huge dip below this band. I don't know if this is a super guppy or if this is just marking out what indicator or just metric he's using to create these zones. I think it's more of just a bear and bull market also as it relates to probably where the realized price is. But we can also see that we had a big push up here in consolidation, a little bit of a sell off into consolidation. Big push up here, sell off. Then we had the black swan March 2020, but a lot of consolidation. If you take out the deviations above and below, just sideways price action. What are we going to get here? We're getting a lot of that sideways price action. When you zoom out on Bitcoin and you look at what's happened since we broke, this is early 2023 following the FTX crash, and we had this push up, sell off, and then this push up and sell off, push up, sell off. This zone right here, if you really look at it, it's almost like a parallel channel, a range consolidating sideways. Yes, with quite a bit of volatility within it, 15, 18%. Moves to the upside and then sell-offs. Point being is, do not let yourself get trapped. look at where we're at just before these large moves to the upside. Don't get shaken out because you just want the move to happen now, okay? So now looking here, argument for the bulls. Is this a Wyckoff sort of accumulation phase down here? So we have accumulation and distribution. Wyckoff, this is something that has been basically a trading strategy and a price action analysis method that has been around since I think the late 1800s, because markets have been moving the same since people have been involved with them. So what does this mean? Do we have this sort of a Wyckoff accumulation with the final sell-off into, a bit of a spring, and then the push up and then the retest down to the previous support? What support is this? Well, I'm glad you asked. That support is this known level that everybody's talking about. So will we get one more test of this level? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think we're going to either test the 24.9? Do you think we're going to break below it? Or do you think we've done the work of retesting this and this is going to go up and away? I want to see what your comments are down below. Let's continue moving on here. So this is in the case of the bulls, but remember, this is only in the case of the bulls if it does not get invalidated. An invalidation of this would be if this retest coming down actually breaks this previous basically resistance that has flipped to support. If we lose this now, then this is no longer that Wyckoff accumulation. So just note, there are arguments for the bulls and the bears. So let's stay patient. Let's make sure we're trading with strategy. We have, of course, terrible news over the weekend. My heart, my prayers, love, blessings goes out to everybody anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. I don't care your color, your religion, your race, your age, your sex. I don't care. Peace and blessings to everybody. But let's look at this. We're talking markets here. I'm not a political pundit, so I'm going to be talking about what are the charts saying through all this. Well, we see the gap up here on oil, almost 4%. Why is this open? Because this was last night in the evening. We can see Sunday nights, markets open back again, especially for futures and derivatives and stuff. But oil jumps over 4% following the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. So what does it mean? What does it mean if oil goes up? If oil goes up, that means gas goes up. If gas goes up, then all those metrics we've been looking at for inflation and this argument that we're going to pause and maybe at some point actually start getting reductions in the interest rate, this is one of the largest components of the CPI. This is one of the largest components of inflation. Energy, the cost of not only producing things, shipping things, logistics, building things, supplies. I mean, everything in the world primarily runs on the cost of oil. So we got to pay attention to this. Does this mean we're going to be seeing pressures on the market? I'm not saying it's going to go one way or another. Right now, there's a lot to figure out. So let's stay patient here. Let's remember to use our strategy. Number one thing in your strategy you can use is patience and discernment. So looking here, we got gold. Gold rising as investors brace for safety. Will Bitcoin, what some people claim to be the digital gold, will it also see, basically capital flowing into it? Still feeling a little sick from the weekend, but we can see gold rising as investors brace for safety. It's going to be interesting to see how Bitcoin performs over the next month or so. Hopefully this is not a long drawn out conflict, but we want to make sure as people other places in the world that we also protect our assets. So let's pay attention to what happens with gold. This is going to be very telling because we already saw a bit of influx, of activity as well as adoption in regards to other world conflicts like in Ukraine, because the ability to transact international remittances, getting money to those who no longer have access to banks. And there's so many things at play here that we need to pay attention to. Now, where are we at right now? Well, just looking very quickly, Bitcoin strategy platform. This is something the Rational Root basically created, and it's a wonderful website. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. But he has essentially, we have the 21 week SMA, simple moving average. We have the 200-day simple moving average, and then we've also got the short-term holder cost basis. And we can see we are sitting right at a pivotal point. Not only do we have a lower high, we're also sitting here being held down by a couple key points of resistance. If we cannot break through this, we may be having quite a bit more work to do going into 2024. So let's pay attention to this. Once we break back above this, this would not only be, oh, yes, we're starting to push higher, but we're also breaking key resistances. So let's just keep an eye on that. We're going to be breaking down all of this and more on the BitLab daily stream at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time later on this afternoon. A lot more discussion around this and charts and TA. Remember, this is just the Chart Watch Daily Jumpstart. We're going to be trying to do this almost every day here on BitLab at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now looking here, where we at in the cycle, we have the three past halving cycles. This is a halving. This is what price action did. The orange is the next one, and then the pink is the current one we're in now. And we can see push up, long bear market, long bear market, long bear market. Bottoms roughly about the same spot, and then a lot of three different variations on what the sort of chop factor is. What type of accumulation? What type of pressures in the market move around until the next halving. So we want to pay attention where we're at. It looks like we're perfectly on track as it relates and compares to previous cycles. Now looking right here, where are we at in terms of that halving? How close are we? Where we are 87%. No, we're 86% as of October 6th. So yeah, we're somewhere between 86, 87%. The small little gap, we can see what has happened in previous cycles. This was a black swan event here with the global economic shutdown. In this case, we had a lot of accumulation, which we will get now. Point is, we're coming up to the next halving. So let's stay diligent and patient in the next, 200 days or so until the next halving. Now, I want to just point this out as well. If you look at the basically previous halvings, especially when we were 200 days from the halving, very similar to this chart that we just looked at, we can see where we're at. This is basically 65% down from the all-time high. This was about 60% down from the all-time high when we're at this date. This is same thing, about 6. So we're right on track. That is the point here. So with that being said, Joe Rogan over the weekend, I think it was Thursday or Friday this last week, spoke so highly about Bitcoin. Man, I got the coughs. Joe Rogan. Why does this matter? You don't like Joe Rogan? You don't care? Joe Rogan has the largest podcast on earth. He's larger than most TV networks. It's important what he says, whether you agree with him or not, because it does have impact on culture almost globally. Very important that he's saying positive things about Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin will probably be the leading currency or one of the best assets internationally here quite soon. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure you come and give me a follow at Kelly Kellam, Kelly Kellam. Make sure you follow BitLab Academy at Academy BitLab. That's all I got for you right now. I love you all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, and I'll be seeing you all at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time after Discover Crypto. With that, I bid you adieu. Adios.